is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow here alongside Mo Patton as we are back in studio, at least for a minute. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday, and welcome back after a Wednesday that was not great for me. So, and sorry we missed you guys. Certainly did not want to do that, but glad that you're back. Mo, glad you're back.
Glad we're back. Yeah, it's good to be back. Like you said, hate that we missed yesterday, but things happen. Things have happened quite a bit here of late, but yeah, things happen.
It's been a heck of a last 3 weeks.
It's been a mell of a hess, as you like to say.
That's exactly right. But football season is here. It starts tonight. Tennessee Titans will be on television, and we've got jamborees in high school tomorrow and some scrimmages that are not jamborees. They're definitely not jamborees. Don't
definitely they are not. Don't call it a jamboree.
It is definitely not a jamboree. It's certainly a scrimmage. Now, if they're wearing uniforms or anything like that, just pretend that doesn't exist. I don't know. Anyway.
We probably didn't need to go there, but you know,
it is what it is. Right. Mo, we got a good show today. We've got Cane Ridge coach Eddie Woods, who's going to join us in the next segment at 2:15. We've got Tony Tsoukalas. I hope he's not going to call us. Hope he's going to be on video. Tony T.
Tony T or Tony. The T is silent. That's right. Yes.
So it is what it is. But he's with Bama Illustrated. He's going to join us at the 3:00 hour as well. So it's going to be a good show. We got a lot to talk about, so we might as well get right into it. And we can do that with today's top story, which to me, we just posted the Main Street Sports or Main Street Preps top 25 on mainstreetpreps.com. And no surprise that the top of the list is about as predictable as you can get in high school football around here.
Yeah, I think the poll probably begins at number 4, really, in earnest.
You know, we were talking to I was talking to Ben Martin, Spring Hill coach, and Seth Anderson, Columbia Academy's coach, just moments ago across the street during their Rotary luncheon. And he said, you know, Lipscomb Academy's already playing basically a national schedule. You know, how much longer will it be till that's all they're playing? So I'll be interested to see if they stick around the TSSAA to play for something, or if they just go to an IMG style and play national teams.
As we've talked about some college football situations and that kind of thing, I think the concern with that conversation is that would not be a football decision. That would be a school-wide decision. And while Lipscomb Academy football is certainly broadening its horizons in terms of scheduling, I don't think the entire Lipscomb Academy athletic program is prepared for leaving the TSSAA and what would happen after that.
So you don't think they could just take football out and be done?
I don't believe. I don't think it's an a la carte situation.
Interesting. That's possible. I don't know.
I don't know because it's never something that I've heard discussed. It's a great question.
We might find out the answer. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't have Lipscomb's schedule in front of me, but I do know in addition to this week 1 opener down at Milton, Georgia, they are also playing Thompson, Alabama later this year.
And some team from Maryland. So yeah, they've got a heck of a schedule in front of them, and it's going to be interesting to watch it for sure. And then Oakland is number 2, NBA number 3. Obviously, NBA had a great season last year, and they look to get back to Chattanooga once again. As you said, Mo, starting number 4, you got Lebanon, then Pearl Cone, who we will talk to, his week 1 opponent again here in just a few moments, and looking forward to that game. It's going to be a good one. CPA at 6, Riverdale at
That's
7.
a Thursday night game, as is Oakland's opener at Hendersonville, I believe. So you're gonna get some Thursday night heat right out of the box, man.
You're right. That is going to be a heck of a week 1 opener. Riverdale at 7, not surprised there. Innsworth, maybe a little surprising it in the top 10, but they have a lot coming back too.
Well, and the thing is, again, this is, as we've mentioned on more than one occasion, football is such a quarterback-driven sport, and it sounds cliche-ish, but cliches are cliches for a reason. And Innsworth has a 3-year starter back in Levi Moore, so
it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Also, Lebanon's guys back from last year, and I cannot think of his name, but he has earned very high praise from our friend in Lebanon, Tommy Bryan. And so looking forward to seeing what they can do with another year of experience under their belts.
Yeah. Then you've got Pope Prep Ravenwood at 9, Pope Prep at 10. Again,
Chris Parsons, Kenny Minchie.
It's quarterbacks. Brentwood Academy with a pretty solid quarterback, but they're in a quarterback battle from the last thing I read from our friends at Main Street Preps. They've got a little competition going on there. Then you got Blackman at 12 after a 5-5 year missing the playoffs. That's awfully bold of the Main Street Preps folks. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that's a bold choice. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. See how it works out. You've got Beach and then Page, Green Hill, then Cane Ridge, Independence at 17, Nolensville at 18. Again, it's quarterback-driven sport and all, but that's interesting there because you've got East Nashville at 19 and then Summit at 20. I know it's a new era, but is 20 the right spot for them?
Nope.
I feel like they're a top 15 program. I certainly think they're better than Nolensville. But, of course, the only game I saw Nolensville play last year, they threw 3 interceptions and Columbia Central beat their eyeballs in. So
that's such a graphic description. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's really graphic.
And Springfield at 21, who is picked by many to win their region again. Marshall County at 22, who ended up, 4th in that just brutal region that they're in with Pearl Cone and Montgomery Central, and who else is in there?
Tullahoma, the defending state champ,
who won the state championship. I mean, that's a tough region. So,
yep.
Then Father Ryan, Columbia Central, and Davidson Academy rounded out. Clarksville, Smyrna, and Station Camp all just missed the 25. So there you have it. That is the top 25. Send all complaints to
not here.
Russell Venozzi, rvenozzi at mainstreetpreps.com.
mainstreetmediatn.com. Yeah. Not here. Send them here. I'll forward them.
If you send them to us, we'll get them to the proper authorities.
Which we are not.
It is not us. We did not pick these at all. But seriously, though, it's always interesting because it's got to be hard. You can't You're talking about 6 classes. Well, you're talking about 9 classifications. You're talking about the entire mid-state, and it's just it's not easy to do.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And again, you're talking about from the Kentucky border to the Alabama border, from the Tennessee River basically to the Eastern Time Zone. It's not easy. You're talking about 130 something football programs. You know, picking out the top 25 in any given week is it's going to be a challenge, and
we'll let them do it. I'm not gonna argue with them,
and I'll let them put their name on it.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with them at all.
Yeah.
All right, Mo. Let's get to yesterday's results and today's schedule real quick before we get to Eddie Woods on today's rundown.
This is the rundown.
In Wednesday Major League Baseball action, the Mets continue to stay hot with a 10-2 win over Cincinnati. Milwaukee down Tampa Bay 4-3. It was the Cubs 4, the Nationals 2. The Braves completed a sweep at Fenway Park with an 8-4 victory over Boston, and we'll talk more about that later for sure. St. Louis with a 9-5 win over the Rockies.
WNBA action, it was New York's 91, Dallas 73, and Minnesota down Phoenix 86-77. Today's schedule in Major League Baseball, about right now, the Cardinals are throwing out the first pitch against the Rockies in Colorado. The Cubs are at the Reds tonight at 6:15. You can see that game on Fox. And in minor league action, Gwinnett is at the Sounds. So Stripers at the Sounds.
Stripers.
1P.
Actually, that would be the Rockies throwing out the first pitch against visiting
Technically,
St. Louis.
yes, you're right.
Just for what that's worth. NFL preseason action tonight. The Titans at Baltimore taking on the Ravens. That's a 6:30 kickoff and will be televised on the local ABC affiliate, WKRN News 2. WNBA action. Chicago plays at Las Vegas. That game can be seen on NBA TV at 9. At 9:30. Connecticut is at LA, and that can be seen on Twitter.
Twitter Live, just like us.
There you go.
You can find us at MS_sports today.
6 hours after we go off, you can watch Connecticut and the Sparks. Yeah.
There you go. That's going to do it for today's rundown. All right. We'll take a quick break, and Eddie Woods will join us here in just a few minutes on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. You guys stick around right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Hey, welcome back into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Young alongside Mo Patton, and Coach Eddie Woods will be joining us here in just a few minutes. Looking forward to high school football starting, Mo. Tomorrow we have a little action down here in southern Middle Tennessee with a jamboree.
We do indeed. The Maury County Jamboree starts at 6 on Friday over at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. We'll have Dixon County and Spring Hill for 2 quarters. We'll have Creekwood and Lewis County for 2 quarters. And then at 8, we'll have Columbia Academy and Columbia Central for 2 quarters. And I don't know when those two have been on the same football field at the same time, other than the 7-on-7 that we were at back in July. So, yeah, that should be fun. I think they're going to have a good crowd for that. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in that. Also, Richland will be down at Lawrence County taking on Wayne County for 2 quarters. And Summertown will be down at Loretto taking on they've got Wilson for 2 quarters, and then they've got Lauderdale County for a quarter, both out of Alabama.
Oh, a little border battle action.
Little border battle, exactly. Yeah. So looking forward to that.
What you got there, Mo?
Man, this was in my mailbox yesterday. Where are we at? Can you see it? There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
This is I'm doing my best Vanna White.
You're doing a great job too.
Yeah. The 2022 statewide Tennessee high school football preview presented by Donovan Stewart. I don't think that's his signature. What do you think?
I don't know. I'd be interested to see how well it matches up.
This thing is huge. But
that is a thick
it's
book.
a big book. It's a big book. It's
300 and something pages at least.
424. Yeah.
424 pages of nothing but high school sports, just
chock full of information, man. I mean, it's this is the Buc-ee's of books. It's a little overwhelming.
There you go. You get all the information you can get out of it, but it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm excited now, Mo, to talk a little bit about From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Renee Hart and the gang doing a great job, always feeding you, always keeping you fed and happy, is Renee Hart and Chapel Hill from the Heart Cafe. Make sure to go out there and see them if you're in the area. If you're headed to Henry Horton, there's no better place to stop and eat before you get to the park. And I'm also excited, Mo, because on Coach's Corner today, we have Coach Eddie Woods of the Cane Ridge Ravens, and looks like you got some information pulled up right there. So looking forward to talking to him as he gets ready to take his team and take on Pearl Cone in week 1 next week. So, Coach, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, appreciate you taking some time with us, Coach. As Chris mentioned, opening the season next Thursday night at Pearl Cone. Getting things started tonight in the Metro Nashville Public Schools Jamboree over at Hillsboro. And I don't remember, are y'all playing Hillsboro?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're playing Hillsboro tonight.
Okay. All right. Couple of Tennessee State products on the sidelines with Coach Woods and with Anthony Brown from Hillsboro over there. So that's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. But Coach, 7-4 last year, first round out against Clarksville. What are you looking forward to out of this team this time around?
Well, obviously, we're looking for much better results. The last 2 years, I would probably tell you, I'll be honest and tell you that that was not a Coach Woods coach team the last 2 years. Our culture has not been what it needs to be for whatever reasons. But we just went back to the basics, from the simplest things and I think it's going to pay dividends here in the fall.
I'm looking over this coaching staff, Coach, and I got to say, you must be a really secure guy, because I'm looking and I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, I think 4 former head coaches on your coaching staff.
Oh man, look, that's been wonderful for us. I am totally secure. By the way, going back to the basics and being able to do the things I do, guys that have been former head coaches just get it better than guys that's not saying that those guys don't either. But it's really been paying off for us. I've been able to move faster and progress in things as far as teaching, as far as the discipline aspects and everything. So having those former head coaches, man, has really paid off for us this off season.
That's something that I was going to mention, Mo, is how, we talk about going from making decisions to suggestions. Sometimes, that's a welcome change for some head coaches, and they enjoy that better. But here's the problem, Coach, is, when it gets down to the stuff that head coaches don't want to do, they just take off and go to the house for dinner, don't they?
Not exactly. It has not been a problem with us at all, because I'm big on modeling, and we have to model. If we want to, tell our kids they have to accept certain roles and do their roles well and things like that, then we have to model that first. And I speak a lot around the whole program, especially our coaches. And we're going to be the first ones to accept roles, and we're going to do our job to the fullest, whatever that may be. And we really model it for the kids. And I think it's really we've really been gelling better. So I'm excited about that from the off season.
Coach, you talk about resetting the culture in your program. You've got a senior at quarterback, and those are always valuable, I imagine. But Siobhan Abdullah is a guy who I would think is going to really help you along those lines and getting it done on the field as well.
Oh yeah, so he spot played as a sophomore, played a lot of games as a junior, so he knows the system very well now. Having a full off season up on his belt, obviously Metro, this is our full off season we've had quite some time. It's hard for anyone, but especially in 6A, the guys we play, if you don't have full off season, it's rough. But him picking up on the system, and then we have a younger kid that's been picking up on it too. So we got 2 guys that we feel really good about. I've been very tough on those guys about doing the simplest things right. And I know most of the time they think I don't like them, and sometimes it may be true, but for the most part, they are perfecting things, and I'm excited about it.
There you go.
He can swing it a little bit too, can't he, Coach?
Yes, he's good with his legs. He just the reading progressions and the fundamentals and the technique. We've been very big on that. 6A playoffs, man. Every inch, everything matters. And I'm just telling them, even in 7-on-7, it's certain things, shots we could have took, but just throwing in holes and throwing in zones, we got to be really good at it. And I've been hard on those guys about doing that.
Coach, you play a pretty tough non-region schedule when you talk about Pearl-Cohn, Father Ryan, and CPA and Maplewood. What does that do for you guys at the end of the year when you do have to step into those 6A playoffs against really, really tough teams year in and year out? I know you were crossed up with that Williamson County region for a long time, and now you guys kind of get the Clarksville area teams. How important is it for you guys to play those tough non-region schedules to get ready for the playoffs?
Very important. Even if you rewind, even from the scrimmages in the summer, what we do, I don't want guys to get a false sense of reality and think we're better than what we are. We scrimmage Oakland every year. We went up there and scrimmaged them, and we competed pretty good against them, and they're still good. So I know they lost some guys, but they're still good. Also, same with Ainsworth. We competed with them pretty good as well. And Oakland's going to test you about reading keys and being fundamentally sound and all those things. That's important. So, and then going to playing a CPA. Inga Martin has a couple of state championships, and playing Pearl-Cohn is always a good athletic, fast team. You're gonna know where you are early. And you're playing those teams, and you're going to see mistakes, you're going to see bad things, you correct them hopefully when the playoffs come around. So it's been big for me ever since I've been coaching to make sure we play guys like that.
That's really refreshing to hear, Coach. And you hit on it, that false sense of security that you get by playing folks that you're clearly better than. And so to go out and push yourself early on and put guys in uncomfortable situations, I guess, is really, really important, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make it a deep run, especially in 6A, man, you're going to play some really good coaches. You're going to play some really good ball clubs. So, you got to go off early, and you got to know where you stand. And if it's things to be fixed, it's things to be fixed, and just keep growing from there. But we're not going to play a lot of teams that we feel like we're better than, and we probably outwork anything. We're going to play teams that's used to winning. I love playing a couple of state championship coaches every year. Just to know where we are, and we're looking forward to the challenge this year. I think we're in good shape. We're returning a lot of kids, and we're just trying to be consistent and hopefully stay healthy, which is most important.
Eddie Woods with us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe. His Cane Ridge Ravens will take on Hillsboro tonight at Hillsboro in a jamboree, in the Metro Nashville Public Schools jamboree. And then next Thursday night, open their season against Pearl Cone. And Coach, you got a pretty good little running back who's made a name for himself, Reggie Goodlow Jr., and he's going to be worth the price of admission for almost everybody this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough little joker, man. He's played all over the field. Similar to not the size maybe, but Tony Pollard that played for the Cowboys. I coached him in high school. They can return. They can go to receive, go to slot. He can even go outside sometime and run in between the tackles too. We also have another kid, Marty Matthews, that's coming off an injury. I've just held him out the whole summer. Just make sure he's healthy because I'm ready for him to go too. So we're gonna move those guys all over the field. We got a few guys on the outside that's been playing about 3 years too. So we're excited about that. But he's our emphasis this offseason was to be tougher at the point of attack, football, defensively and offensively. And we run the ball a whole lot this spring. Now we're gonna, spring and the summer, but we're gonna throw it as well. But the running game definitely goes through Reggie. He's doing a good job. He ran track and committed to it, and he's faster in the open field. I think the first play from scrimmage against Ensworth, I think he went like 70 yards. And he sees how that paid off. And we're definitely the running game is gonna go through him. But the quarterback, he can run too. We hadn't run him as much obviously in the offseason, in the summer, rather. But we're looking forward to it.
Coach, that's pretty high regard when you mention a guy in the same breath with Tony Pollard, considering what he did at Memphis before he got to the league with the Cowboys. Chris mentioned your non-region schedule, but this region is no slouch when you talk about Smyrna and Overton with the guys they've got over there on offense, and McGavick surging with the Bell kid who's committed to Michigan State. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for you in league play as well.
Yeah, it is. Coach Williams at Smyrna always does a great job, and Coach Barnett at McGavick has done an excellent job coming in and getting that program turned around. And Broom has done a good job at Overton. So those guys are doing a good job. I know we don't never put the carriage before the horse. We understand every game is important. We understand staying healthy and continue to grow fundamentally, continue to grow special teams wise, and playing good physical defense and running the ball. That's really what we've been focusing on. And getting back to that culture piece is going to really help us out in trying to secure another region title and also contend in the playoffs. But we understand the task at hand, and we don't take anything lightly. We always our biggest critics, and we're just looking forward to going out there competing.
Coach, we appreciate your time as always here on Main Street Sports Day. You have a lot going on, and we're going to let you get out of here. But thank you for taking some time with us today to talk a little bit about the Cane Ridge Ravens.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right, that's Coach Eddie Woods of Cane Ridge here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. And tell you, it's pretty exciting stuff, man. The high school football is right around the corner, and that Cane Ridge Pearl Cone game is going to be a good one.
Always is. Yeah, looking forward to that one.
All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, little baseball talk that's not the Braves, Mo. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Ball and Joints, back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton here with you. You see how I tried to make the TV almost appear like it's, just a little bit off? It actually says Main Street Sports today. There's a little, just a tiny bit.
Just tweaking it.
Just making it as best we can here.
I noticed that, and it looks good. It looks really good.
I was over here adjusting it, trying to make it like work really. Mo, I got a question for you. Aaron Judge, the right fielder for the New York Yankees.
Center fielder, I believe.
Oh, is he playing center now? He typically plays right field.
Mm-hmm. I think Aaron Hicks got hurt and they slid him over.
All right. So he's got 50 games left. He's at 45 home runs.
That means he's hit 45 home runs in 112 games.
In 50 games, there's no question that he hit 61, right?
I don't think so. Yes, I agree with you. I don't think there's any question that he does not hit another 16 home runs in 50 games.
If he hits 62, is he the single season record holder in your eyes? It's a legitimate question.
It is. Unfortunately, I don't really pay much attention to it one way or the other. Obviously everybody knows what took place with Barry Bonds and that kind of thing. I clearly know where you're going. I've always kind of been torn with the whole Barry Bonds situation from the standpoint that surely he did some things that gave him an advantage physically, but steroids don't improve your eyesight, and they don't improve your hand-eye coordination.
But it does improve your strength and home run ability. In the home run specifically, I think it made a massive difference. Otherwise, he would have hit
massive. I like the way you did that.
He would have hit 62 in 94, not 94, but 95, 96, 97 instead of in 2002 or whatever. But
it's a question that's going to get asked a lot, and I've not thought about it, and I don't really know how I feel about it. But I think over the next 6 weeks, 2 months, it's going to be a question that comes up a lot. So kudos to you for getting out ahead of it.
Well, and I was just thinking about. I thought, man, if he hits 62, I'm probably I'm putting him at least somewhere close to the record book. That's just again,
He may not stop.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think 73 is necessarily. I mean, you're talking about almost 30 more home runs.
Another 28.
Yeah, 73 would be tough. Now that's one every other game, just about a little more. I mean, you'd have to homer in back-to-back days occasionally, but I don't think 73 is in his sights, but I certainly think 62 is possible.
Or up. I mean, 65.
65, 66, I think is doable.
It's pretty amazing. And what really catches my eye in this situation is this is his contract year.
You think the Yankees care? The Yankees don't care. And here, it's funny. I saw a guy the other day who plays for the Yankees on a podcast, and he said that, when they talk about the scruff or the clean shaven face, and he said, it's okay to have a little bit of stubble here and there, and they're not going to get onto you. And if they do, you really just get a warning. Somebody from the front office will just phone down and say, hey, tell so-and-so to clean up or whatever. And they said, well, what if it was Aaron Judge? And he said it wouldn't matter because Aaron Judge is such a perfect Yankee. Like, he just embodies being a Yankee that he would never find himself in that situation. So he's not going anywhere. But he's finna get paid.
It's tough to imagine. I mean, can you imagine hitting 60-something home runs in your walk year?
Yeah, no.
And then just going and sitting down like,
I won. Give me my money.
Now what? Yeah.
And not just hitting 45 home runs, but he's already at 99 RBIs and hit 304. It's not like he hits a home run and strikes out. He's hitting 304.
And he's athletic enough that you can slide him from right to center.
It's insane.
I mean, it's Aaron Judge. It's the New York Yankees. And he's quietly becoming possibly the best player in baseball.
He's on his way, certainly. In the toughest division in baseball, arguably, but I think it's pretty darn close when you're talking about the New York Yankees, who are 71-41. The Baltimore Orioles are 2 games out of the wild card, and they're 12 games back of first place in the division. They have a winning record. They're 58-52 and are 12 games back in the division. That's insane.
It is. That's pretty tough. When you talk about the AL East, though, I mean, and we're going to talk more about what the Braves just did here later in the show, but Boston has been a disappointment.
They were 500 4 games ago. They were 54-54, and then they've lost 4 straight.
I think they were expected to be more of a factor, though, than they have been.
Sure. But again, they were 500 and they're last place in the division. That's insane. And they have to play the Yankees, 20 times a year.
Yeah, in fact, I think they got a series coming up.
They have a series coming up in Fenway right now. Yeah. Starting now. So
after just getting swept.
And that's what I was going to. The Braves should just play 2-game series. If they could do that, they'd sweep a lot more teams. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Being in Boston has been good for the Braves in the last couple of years. It's been really nice for them.
Well, again, we're going to talk more about it later, but it got at least one guy right.
No doubt. And maybe broke out some more. Right now, Miami helping the Braves out with a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 8th against the Phillies. So putting some distance between the Phillies and the Braves is good in the wild card situation if that's where they end up having to be. Of course, the Padres have been terrible. But how about that? I mentioned it just a minute ago. The Baltimore Orioles are 2 games out in the wild card.
And it's interesting because they traded Trey Mancini to the Astros back at the deadline and really got a lot of grief for that because that team had gotten good and he had been there through all the other. And now that they're getting good, they trade him off. And so I think a lot of their fan base was really bothered by that. But yeah, for them to be in the wild card mix is pretty impressive. And it'll be interesting to see how they close this thing out again over the next 6 weeks or so.
So they were supposed to play Toronto today at home, but that has been postponed. They are headed to Boston for a one-off tonight. Tonight? Yeah. Okay. So they were supposed to play Toronto yesterday. That was postponed. They played Boston tonight before the Red Sox host the Yankees, and that's unfortunate. They
I guess that's a makeup game.
Right.
In. Goodness.
And so
a 1-game set.
A one-off, yeah. And then they go to Tampa and then to Toronto. All 3, a bunch of division games here. They got a shot, man. This is crazy. And then they play a random one-off against Chicago, the Cubs. So random. I mean, instead of playing a doubleheader, they're whatever. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that the Orioles were where they are. It's pretty cool to watch. Good for them.
It's good to see somebody different, I think.
It would be awesome to see the Orioles specifically because, I think it took them 100 games to win 35 last year. Something like that. So, yeah.
It's not been great baseball in Baltimore, and you feel like Baltimore's a really good baseball town. I was fortunate enough back in '92 to be living up that way for a little bit and got to see a game at Camden Yards the first year it opened. And I don't know if you've been or not, but it's a great ballpark.
I have not.
Yeah.
Man, if you ever get a chance to go to Baltimore to the Yards, you should go, apparently.
Go to Camden Yards, go to the National Aquarium, get some crab. Yeah.
Always good crab. No S. Ideally. So just, FYI, Justin, if you're going to Baltimore, make sure you get crab. No S.
Stop.
Justin's like, I'm not listening to you guys.
Cut out at the end there. You said, "Don't get crab." What?
Don't. I said, do get crab. No S.
Gotcha.
You're doing it, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm going to revel in it. That was a good one.
I'm like,
Justin, don't respond, Justin. Don't.
Is that encouraging?
Oh, let's take a break. It's halftime anyway.
Let's do
and
that.
when we come back, we'll talk about the Braves. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Halftime break here. So we'll be right back shortly.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It is halftime here on Main Street Sports Today. Do you know what else today is, Mo and Justin?
What's that?
Today is National Presidential Joke Day.
Oh, finally.
It comes this time every year, Justin. Come on.
You're right. You're right. I always get confused because of the leap year and all that.
What is your point?
I don't. Well, I was hoping that maybe there
That
would
be some presidential jokes. Yeah,
but all they have on this website I found were jokes told by presidents. I thought there were going to be like presidential. Yeah,
president. That would have made more sense.
And I'm kind of upset. I mean,
a bad joke.
I mean, okay, here's one from Barack Obama. There are few things in life hard to find and more important to keep than love. Well, love and a birth certificate.
Well, that's pretty funny. That was good.
That's pretty good.
What about another one?
From Jimmy Carter, my esteem in this country has gone up substantially. It is very nice now when people wave at me. They all use their fingers. They use all their fingers. Bill Clinton, being president's like running a cemetery. You've got a lot of people under you and nobody's listening.
Huh.
That one I can feel.
Real. Yeah, that was real.
I've been there. Now, George W. Bush had some good ones, right? To Al Gore during the 2000 presidential campaign. Thank you for your email. The internet of yours is a wonderful invention.
That's just him talking.
There you go.
Everything he said was. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that at Presidential Joke Day, and I was like, "Oh, let's go find some jokes about presidents." No, it's just jokes
by presidents,
which are funny, but
it wasn't exactly what you were looking for.
But I also have to tell you, so we live in the participation trophy generation, from what I understand. And today's National Sons and Daughters Day, so everybody gets a trophy.
I don't know why it couldn't just be National Children's Day.
This is very non-inclusive. I'm just saying. I mean, for it to be both sons and daughters, it's pretty non-inclusive. I'm just saying this is very weird. I don't. Let's pick one, or just put children. I like children.
I like children, but I mean, you can't pick one because then sons or daughters in this participation trophy era.
Yeah, you can't just say upset. They could be mad.
When's my day?
Yours is in April. Sorry. I mean,
I'm a little bothered actually that I've not got a call from my parents on National Sons and Daughters Day. So.
When I was younger, on Father's and Mother's Day, I would always say, "Why isn't there a Kids Day?" And then my parents would say, "Every day is Kids Day." So, just if you want to reference that.
Every day is Kids Day. Pff, what is this?
But if it was up to them, yeah. It's like,
as a parent, I can see that.
I hear you. Yeah. Well, go find a joke from a president. National Presidential Joke Day. It's a good day. Take a quick break. We'll talk about the Braves on the other side. Sticker on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone. Back after this.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton. I would point at you, Mo, but
hey,
Can't even poke you
after all this time, Yeah.
Just to do it here. Mo Patton, he's right here in my. Oh wow, what a day! What a comeback! Don't call it a comeback though.
I've been here for
I've
years.
been here for years, at least 2 almost.
What about
2?
5 more weeks? Yeah. Okay.
We've got a lot to get to in these next 5 weeks before my birthday and the birthday of this show. Talk a little bit about the Braves, Mo. You said you had a question, so I'm going to let you hit on it.
Well, after the rather auspicious debut of Vaughn Grissom last night, who became the first guy in 32 years, or became the youngest guy in the modern baseball era to hit both a home run and steal a base in his major league debut.
That seems good.
Like I said, 21 years and some change. The last guy that did it at such an age was Jose Offerman back in 1990. So again, 32 years since somebody has approached something like that. Shortstop by trade, comes up to play second base with the injuries to first Ozzie Albies and now Orlando Arcia. When Michael Harris II came up, you felt like he was going to be here for good unless he just fell on his face, which he hasn't done. Ozzie's going to be back. Arcia is going to be back. What happens then in terms of this guy? Now, I mean, maybe he falls on his face here between now and then, and back down isn't a big deal. But it doesn't look like it.
Well, it is a big deal because you've started his clock. And that's where things get interesting. Because I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know if they were going to bring up, or somebody else and keep Vaughn Grissom down as long as they could. The problem now becomes,
I don't know that the Braves have ever been concerned with clocks, but
I thought that was the reason that we didn't see Pache and Drew Waters for so long, was to avoid starting their clock.
I don't think they were in the window then that they're in now either.
That's true. I don't disagree. But you are now in a situation, like you just said, you've got a guy in his contract year who's had a decent year. I mean, he's certainly not been he at times, as he always is, he's really good, and at times he's not so good. In fact, at times he's pretty bad at the plate. He's always been great defensively. We have no issues with Dansby Swanson in the field. But I thought they were going to go get Andrelton Simmons. He was DFA'd by the Cubs. I thought they were just going to go sign him. And then they didn't.
I thought that would be an option as well, and I'm not real sure why it wasn't, although,
now you know.
The Twitter experts will tell you that Andrelton Simmons couldn't hit a ball off a tee these days. And
that's a problem.
Maybe that's accurate. And that's certainly not a problem, or wasn't last night for Vaughn Grissom. Now, it's one game. It's 4 at-bats. Is that going to continue? Who knows? But, you keep running him out there, and if you're going to have him up here, he has to play. There's no sense in him being here and backing up Adrian. So,
well, to answer your question, I don't think the Braves would have started his clock if they didn't have a plan for him
to stay up
or traded or whatever. I don't think he's a backup to any. So when Ozzie is here and Dansby's in the field, I don't think you can keep him on the major league roster, like you just said, and keep him in the dugout. Now,
unless
Unless you DH him.
Or put him in left.
I guess that's possible.
I mean, he's 6'3", 210. I'm not sure he's a shortstop anyway long term.
I mean, the answer is unclear.
It's a great problem to have.
But I would say, and I'm certainly not Alex Anthopoulos, but I would certainly say, just based on what we know, I think you let Dansby walk. Or you just try to sign him because, like you said, 8 of the top free agents?
4 of the top 8.
4 of the top 8 are shortstops. You've got Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, and Carlos Correa, all who are going to be looking to get paid. And, I mean,
are there 4 teams out there that are going to be willing to pay a shortstop? And as good as Dansby is, I think it's clear cut that Correa, Bogaerts, and Turner are all better than him. Is that fair to say?
I don't know. His defense is so good. He's much better than Correa. Correa's defense is iffy at best, but great in the lineup. There probably is equal because Dansby's so much better defensively and Correa is so much better offensively. But Xander Bogaerts, to me, is probably the best shortstop of the bunch. Trey Turner has certainly fallen off this year, which is ironic in a walk year. But it's been hard to watch, this season of roller coasters. It's the same thing you get every year from Dansby Swanson. It's the same thing you get every year. And how much is that worth to you? Because do you want to keep him? Yes, he's an Atlanta kid. He is one of the most popular players among fans, but partly because he's an Atlanta kid, and partly because, well, let's face it, he's awfully good looking. So the females are going to be up in arms if we get rid of Dansby. We already got rid of Charlie Culberson, and they were angry enough about a guy who sits on the bench. So I'm just saying, you got to think about that kind of stuff because the Braves are putting 40,000 people in Truist Park every night, and part of the reason is because women are watching baseball right now because of Dansby Swanson in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it, Mo. But as far as on the field is concerned, I think you saw that Vaughn Grissom is going to be either a problem or a luxury, and potentially both.
Yeah. I just feel like Swanson is so good in the clubhouse. And I feel like chemistry
with him and Ozzie is really good.
And I feel like chemistry is really important to this organization.
It is.
And so from that standpoint, I feel like they're going to try to sign him and figure out what to do with Grissom.
Well, is Alex Anthopoulos going to work with his agent? And what issues does that bring?
Is his agent going to work with Anthopoulos?
What issues is that going to bring up?
Yeah. You want to identify his agent?
Casey
For
Close.
those that don't know, yeah.
Former agent of one Freddie Freeman, Casey Close. So, yeah. Better watch out.
Speaking of problems,
that could be the biggest problem of all.
Yeah.
Is tonight the Field of Dreams game?
I don't know, but we do need to clarify.
Yeah, it's on Fox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on Fox. The Cubs in Cincinnati, so they're not in Cincinnati. They are in Iowa, where no one can watch baseball.
Iowa, yeah, where nobody can watch it
unless you're there.
we do need to mention the Braves beat the Red Sox 8-4 last night, as we mentioned on the rundown, to complete the 2-game series sweep.
Thank you, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Thank you, Ronald Acuna Jr. Thank you, Marcell Ozuna. And who thought we'd ever say that again?
Well, he's had a couple of good games here and there, but boy, he's a stinker when he doesn't do anything.
As My mom says it's kind of like the little girl with the curl. When he's good, he's very good. When he's bad, he's ugly.
It's bad,
Yeah.
real bad.
What he had like what? How many RBIs did he have last night?
I think
he had a 3-run home run. Is that all he had?
I think four RBIs.
Okay, that seems good.
It is most of the time.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mo, tell us what happened this day in Braves history.
Oh, August 11th, 1967, Joe Torre's one-out solo home run in the 16th pushed Atlanta to a 6-5 win over the visiting Astros at the launching pad at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. It was the fourth homer of the game, all by the host Braves of Bob Uecker, Clete Boyer, and Felipe Alou each went yard as well. Alou in the 13th to retie the game after Houston had gone ahead 5-4 in the top of the inning.
Joe Torre, Bob Uecker, and Felipe Alou.
And Clete Boyer.
Any relation to Clint?
Different spelling.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. Brother to former St. Louis Cardinals third baseman Ken Boyer, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, that is this day in Braves history. When we come back, we have Tony Tsoukalis from Bama Illustrated talking a little Roll Tide right after this. Main Street Sports Days presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. So we continue our preview of Southeastern Conference football. Mo, it's Alabama Day, and this should be interesting as we have Tony Tsoukalis of Tide Illustrated joining us here, and obviously with us being where we are, you would think that this would be a controversial topic, but how many Alabama fans do we see every day? It's a bunch. I mean, we're in the building where there's an Alabama radio affiliate. So
a lot of Alabama interest up this way.
No question.
I just wish Alabama fans would learn the difference in the Alabama A and the Atlanta A. It's because I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. I'm not Not that I'm not an Alabama fan, but I don't have any Alabama apparel. So if I'm wearing a cap with an A on it, it doesn't have a mullet.
Well, just letting folks know. Exactly. Tony, it's time for Alabama.
Alabama time.
Tell us a little bit about this Alabama team, because Nick Saban seems to think it's going to be a pretty darn good year, and he has been uncharacteristically happy over the last couple of weeks for whatever reason in his press conferences, and that's not good for the rest of college football, is it?
Yeah, he's been interesting. I don't know if he's always been happy. He's been kind of snippy the whole time. But yeah, he's been feeling himself a little bit, and he's got a team that is indicative of that. I think, it's got a lot of talent on it. When you look at it, it's really on the defensive side of the ball. You bring back the nation's best top pass rushing duo and Will Anderson Jr. and Dallas Turner. And then you also got another 5-star kid in there and Chris Braswell. And Alabama's going to try to get all those guys on the field at the same time. That's just a nightmare for opposing offenses. You also return your leading tackler and Henry Tuato'o. You got 3 senior starters in the defensive line. You got to fill 2 returning starters at the cornerback slots, but you return both of your safeties. So that defense is going to be stout. It could be one of the best defenses that Nick Saban's put together during his time at Alabama. And then on offense, you return the reigning Heisman winner in Bryce Young. You kind of reshaped the wide receiving core. You brought in 2 transfers. They also signed 5 rivals 100 receivers. So and you brought in Jahmyr Gibbs, another guy that's a really good running back that can also catch passes. So they're going to be able to do things on offense. I think they're going to lean more on their defense early on, but I think this could be a really complete team.
An embarrassment of riches is what Definitely that sounds like. Yeah. And yeah, you say Saban's been snippy. That's pretty par for the course, I would think, with him. But to hear him speak in relatively glowing terms about his teams, like Chris said, that's kind of got to be a tip off, a warning for everybody else, I would think, does it not?
Yeah, he's definitely going to have more fun with this team than he did with last year's team. I mean, like, how often do you return 2 team captains from the year before? And, he's got, arguably the 2 best players on either side of the ball in college football, and Bryce Young and Will Anderson, but they're also great leaders. And so he's got more leadership on this team, more, veterans, and the team's hungry. I mean, this is a team that, is putting their 2nd place trophy on display in the cafeteria to kind of just tick them off every time they go and eat, So, I think that's something that you got to look at in terms of, like, I think that the mindset is here on this team. And I bet that's right now, I think that's the biggest thing that Nick Saban looks at is, like, where's the mindset of his team? And I think he's got to be happy with that.
Does anybody do the psychology better than Saban?
I don't know. He's got that pretty much down, the whole process. He also has the people that do it for him. I mean, he had Larry Fitzgerald in the other night. Michael Phelps, was in the night before that. I mean, he's having some big time speakers come talk to the team about the mental side of the game. They bring in not only those, they'll bring in just motivational kind of speakers as well. And so that's part of it's elite when it comes to like the guest list at it's definitely an A-list guest list when it comes to Alabama's preseason camp.
This is a football team that we have seen do nothing but just continue to be fantastic year in and year out for the last decade plus, almost decade and a half at this point. And for those of us who went through the 90s and you had 2 or 3 different dynasties, like, you had Florida State for a little while, you had Nebraska for a little while, it in the 80s with Miami and Notre Dame and that sort of thing. This is just in the world of Twitter and the world of instant information. Alabama has to be one of the most sought after offers that you can get, because it doesn't matter anymore where you live or who you grew up a fan of, it's all about winning championships, and the ability of this program to continue to work year in and year out with the process. Is this a blueprint for other programs once Nick Saban retires, and for Alabama for that matter, to try to recreate? Can it be recreated?
I don't think you can truly recreate it. I think Kirby Smart's done a pretty good job of trying to take a lot of things from Nick Saban, and obviously it worked for him last year. He was able to get over the hump. But it's replacing a head coach like Nick Saban. I mean, he's going to go down in history as, I currently think he's the best college football coach of all time. Who knows if there'll be another guy that's going to pass him? Probably. People are always passing everyone else, but he's going to be, one of the pillars of college football when you look back at it through the years. And I just think that that you can't really truly replace that. Now you can take a lot of the, you can take a lot of the elements of it, and I think you can really try to recreate some of the things and do things in the same vein. But when it comes to building something, I'm not sure we're going to see something as dominant as what Alabama has built. I don't think Alabama is going to be able to do it for a while after Saban, and I don't think anybody else is. I think there's going to be more parity in the game after Nick Saban leaves because he's that dominant.
When is that though?
I get asked that all the time. It doesn't seem like he's slowing down. I mean, so they brought in the, number 2 class. Now they have the number 1 class. I mean, are they might have the number 1 class coming up. They don't quite have it yet in Rivals, but it's just, I think it's crazy.
It's probably the biggest question in college football. Speaking with Tony Sakalas of Tide Illustrated here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Tony, it all keeps coming back to Saban, I think, because most of these coaches at top level programs like that, I mean, you don't typically see them bring in transfers and that kind of thing, but the transfer portal became such a big deal. Everybody's dealing with it. And so Alabama just goes out and gets probably the top running back in the portal over this past offseason, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, it's just, again, the rich getting richer. I mean, how, and I know Saban doesn't care about selling that to the other running backs in the room, but just seeing a Gibbs come in to that program, it's got to be a little deflating to everybody else.
Yeah, we didn't talk to the running backs about it, but we did talk to Ja'Cory Brooks. It's the same situation, right? With Jermaine Burton and Tyler Harrell coming in. I mean, I think they just strive off the competition, So, I mean, just going off of what Brooks told us in the receiving room when they brought in 2 transfers, it was a case of just, it was a challenge. And I think that it's noted, you know what I'm saying? And I think it kind of fires up the team because they want to compete. They everybody there on the team currently wants to have their moment. They don't want to move over for a transfer, but I think it's really that they're going to push each other. And I don't think, just because of transfers coming in, that any of these guys that are high recruits, I mean, everybody on Alabama is a great player. And, so they're not going to just move over for anyone. They're going to have to fight their way onto the team. And so I just think that's kind of, that you talk about things that have built this program. It's the iron sharpens iron mentality of just, constant competition, constant reps against the best. I think that's what kind of fuels Alabama. So I don't necessarily think that the transfers are they're just going to continue that and maybe heighten it a little bit.
Tony, tell me a little bit about the wide receiver core now with the injury to JoJo Earl, who's out for at least 6 to 8 weeks with a broken foot. They're replacing 3/4 of their receiving yards from last year, and obviously you've got Bryce Young, but somebody's got to catch it on the other end. So how does this receiving core stack up? Are they good enough to potentially make Bryce Young a Heisman contender again?
They will give him the opportunity, to do that. They're not going to hold him back at all. It's a very talented group. I think, the loss of JoJo Earle is significant because he was having a good camp, and, Nick Saban, upon announcing his injury yesterday, had said that, he had really matured, really was playing with a lot more confidence. So on one hand, it's tough to hear that from an Alabama perspective because you lose a guy that really could have been a difference maker early in the season. But on the other hand, you're getting JoJo Earle back in October probably. So you might have an extra shot in the arm at that point in the season, but outside of him, I think Jermaine Burton's really, everything points to him being the number one guy next year. I think when you look at, he led Georgia wideouts in receiving yards, but I think really when you look at him, Georgia didn't utilize him the way that Alabama will utilize him. I think that you could see him double his numbers at Alabama very easily. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be right up there with 100 catches. I think he's going to be a 1,000-yard guy. I think he's going to be a really important part. And then the other person that's really made a step this preseason and also, late last season is Ja'Cory Brooks, who's a Rivals 100 guy, big time recruit, kind of broke out a little bit late in his freshman year. He had that big catch against Auburn in the game-tying drive for Alabama. I think he'll be the other starter. And then that third spot, it's kind of up in the air at the moment. I think, they got Tyler Harrell from Louisville. They've got, returning guys like Christian Leary, like Trayshawn Holden. So it'd be interesting to see kind of how they fill that out.
Tony Tsoukalas here of Tide Illustrated joining us here as we continue to break down the SEC across the board, each and every team, each and every day throughout the rest of the offseason leading up to Vanderbilt's trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, Tony, something that we've asked as we looked at different conferences, but I want to ask you, if it's not Alabama winning the SEC West, who is it?
Ooh, I think you'd have to go Texas A&M or Arkansas in my book, and maybe Ole Miss. I'd like to. Ole Miss has so many transfers that it'd be if they all hit. I think maybe you could throw them in that mix. I think Texas A&M had this great recruiting class. We'll see how many of those guys can be instant impactors. But I think I like what they're building over there. I don't know if this is going to be the year they challenge Alabama. But they're certainly making a run at that number 2 role in the SEC West. And then Arkansas is my sleeper team. I think, if there's a team that I thought like Alabama could slip to, that's a game that, they never really lose to the person that you think they're going to lose to, right? And so I think when you look at Arkansas, that's a tough trip for Alabama. It comes in a time of the season where they might not be looking at it the right way. I just see them being a little sleeping giant, and they could have a sneaky good year in the SEC West as well.
Last time Alabama lost to a team that people kind of thought they might lose to was Ole Miss, and that doesn't happen very often. That might have been the only time in that an Alabama team who was expected to be a national champion lost to a team they weren't expected to, or they were expected to. So there you have it. Arkansas, as we said, Mo, the sleeper in the SEC West. And it's looking more and more like the Razorbacks got some lofty expectations. We'll see how Sam Pittman handles it. We know how the Tide are going to handle their expectations. They're just going to handle their business with the process. And Tony Tsoukalas here with us from Tide Illustrated. Tony, thanks for taking some time with us today. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to this college football season. I know you are too.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. All right, Mo, we're going to take a quick break. We got a lot to get to. Some news that came out during our show that I just saw. Pretty exciting. And got some exciting news from our friends in Nolensville, and then the Titans play tonight. So we'll ask a quick question on that as well. So come back with us. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint is back after this.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chrissy Al, Mo Pat, and Justin Kulik on the controls. And Mo, the argument for basketball's GOAT just got a little bit more difficult. The NBA has announced that number 6 will be retired across all 30 teams in the National Basketball Association.
Well, it took them long enough.
You're muted.
I'm muted. But you can still hear me.
I can't still hear you, as a matter of fact.
It took them long enough. I think some folks probably heard me the first time, but yeah. It's not that Bill Russell needed another honor in his passing, but he's certainly deserving.
Yeah, 23. If they decide to retire 23 when LeBron retires, both of his numbers will have been retired across the board. Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be something? Or what if they retired it for the original 23?
That's what I'm saying. If they waited, both of his numbers would have been retired,
and neither of them
for him.
What would they do? What would they do if that happened?
Ouch.
It would be unfortunate for LeBron, but I don't know what you do. I mean, you just
it is what it is. I mean, literally. I mean,
that's hilarious.
Bill Russell, Michael Jordan,
and everybody else.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the way I look at it. You take that argument up with a wall for all I care.
Okay.
Don't come at me with any LeBron. I ain't here to listen to it. Anyway. Speaking of retiring, Mo.
Evolving.
Is that what she's calling it?
Yes.
No, that's
yes. It makes sense.
She's retiring from professional tennis, though.
She is retiring from professional tennis. Following the U.S. Open, Serena Williams is stepping away from the sport, and in
goats.
In an essay that she wrote for Vogue magazine, that's got to be a great get, doesn't it?
No doubt. She's
you got Serena Williams to break her leaving the sport in your magazine,
and you didn't even have to write it. You didn't have to do anything.
There you go. Didn't have to pay a freelancer or anything. Yeah. I'm here to tell you that I'm evolving away from tennis toward other things that are important to me. A few years ago, I quietly started Serena Ventures, a venture capital firm. Soon after that, I started a family. I want to grow that family. So I guess the point that she's trying to make is she won't be playing tennis anymore, but she's
not retiring.
She's not going to be on vacation 365 days a year. So,
when most people retire, they go to a country club and play tennis.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So maybe that's why she's not calling it a retirement. Maybe she's not going to play tennis.
It's the opposite.
I've been playing.
Most people retire from venture capitalism and go play tennis in retirement. She's going to do the opposite.
She's going to retire from tennis to become a venture capitalist. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
And good for her. I'm not mad at her.
Man, that's
she can play tennis if she wants to.
If she wants to, she can.
Not because she has to.
You go to the country club and you sign up for the 11 o'clock and you show up and it's Serena. What do you do then?
She's
You
trying to
take
close
that-
any deals.
You take that 6060 loss and go home. That's what you do.
Nice to meet you. Can you sign this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's about it.
Oh, just don't hurt me.
Exactly.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, we this was announced earlier in the week and we hadn't had a chance to speak to it, and I just felt like it deserved speaking to,
No question there. I mean, she is the GOAT of women's tennis. There are very few other names I would put in her in that vein, and maybe Martina Hingis, Martina Navratilova, but those are just names I remember from growing up. I mean, they're not necessarily GOAT status.
4 Olympic gold medals, 23 Grand Slam championships.
I mean, it's pretty well.
How does that compare to Venus? His career.
That I can't tell you. I think she is. I think she's the better of the two. I'm not sure about how much, but
Sorry.
that's a good. No. That's a good question. That's a good question. I just don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. But
Navratilova won 306 Grand Slams.
306
more.
Matches in Grand Slams.
Oh, matches. Okay.
365 for Serena.
Okay.
Man.
That's
And Steffi Graf won 22 major singles titles. The only one better is Serena.
So I mean, however, by whatever metric,
she's the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
Two things before we get out of here. Number one, Nolensville Little League headed back to Williamsport, and the Little League
did it in rather dramatic fashion.
They did.
Yeah.
It certainly didn't make it easy on themselves getting down 2-0 early.
They were down 2-0. They scored a run in the 5th and then scored 4 in the top of the 6th to win it 5-2. Big win for them over the team from Virginia. So
Loudon South, I
yeah,
believe.
Loudon South from South Riding, Virginia.
Not Loudon County.
Maybe it is Loudon. Maybe that's what Loudon South stands for. I don't know, but yeah. But the town that they are from is South Riding.
Huh, there you go. And fine.
Doesn't matter what your name is. Yeah.
That's right. You're not going to Williamsport, baby. No one's go heading back, and they're looking for support. I know their Facebook page. They've got a
GoFundMe out there.
A little GoFundMe out there. So help them out if you can. Again, tonight the Titans will take on the Ravens. That is not the Cane Ridge version. That is the Baltimore version. Thank goodness. But you can catch them on ABC. Who are you most looking forward to seeing tonight?
Honestly, I'm kind of excited to see what Theo Jackson is going to do, the rookie out of Tennessee who played his high school ball at Overton. I think they're looking for him to play a role defensively, and I'm kind of excited to see a local kid and what he's going to be able to do at that level quickly.
A lot of folks looking forward to seeing Malik Willis, obviously. I think a lot of folks are excited to see what's going to happen with this team. And I'll tell you, it's going to be an interesting night, to say the least. I think the offensive line is going to get a lot of good work in. I want to see Kyle Phillips. Really looking forward to seeing him.
1L.
Phillips 1L. It's very important. So it's going to be a good one. Again, that's at 6:30 tonight. Tennessee at Baltimore on WKRN ABC. And that's going to do it for our show today. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. It'll be a good one. So, for Mo and Justin, I'm Chris saying see you later.